What's going on? This is Kareem from DJBooth.net, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a quick rundown video review of the brand new Pioneer DJ DDJ-400 Rekordbox entry-level or beginner digital DJ controller. So what we have here is the latest iteration of Rekordbox DJ's entry-level controller. It's the DDJ-400. It's kind of modeled after their bigger brother, the DDJ-1000, which happens to now be one of my favorite DJ controllers of all time. And the DDJ-400 follows in those footsteps by actually becoming my favorite entry-level DJ controller of all time because it's got a lot of bells and whistles already embedded within it. It already comes with the full-out Rekordbox DJ software, so that way you don't have to buy any upgrades or anything like that. And it just works really well out of the box. It has a nice, cool layout. The layout is very similar to professional-style DJ gear or the Nexus-style setup. You can see that you have everything on the same location for each one of your decks. You have your looping controls at the top for each of your decks in the same spot. You also have the pitch sliders at the same place. You have everything set up so it would be very similar or very familiar for you guys to work on existing huge DJ setups all across booths in all of the world. So that way it'll be easy for you guys to come moving up from something like this to play out at your clubs or to use more expensive gear, and it really does work as advertised. You will definitely be able to play on bigger and better DJ gear using a setup like this, because me using the gear that I use, which is always professional, coming down to something like this, I wasn't lost. Everything really had a good placement for it, and everything was just like second nature to me, having coming from Nexus setups and even turntables and separate DJ controllers that are a lot better and a lot more on the flagship style tier. The price point of this controller is only $250, which is amazing for something that gives you a full-out DJ software. This has a lot of features already packed into it that Serato DJ Lite does not offer, so you're definitely going to have to upgrade your smaller controllers to the Serato DJ Pro if you want to get even close to all of the features and functions that this has right here on board. So right off the bat with construction, we have a completely plastic construction all the way around. It's nice and compact. It's easy to come with you and throw into a bag for you. You can see it has little kind of cutouts here on the side, so that way you can grab it and hold it very easily. You have your headphone jack in the front, which is just the small mini style. In the back, you also have an unbalanced mic along with your RCA master, and you also have your USB as well. Also in the back, you'll see you have a gain knob for your microphone because there's no volume knob on the front or the top of the unit for you to adjust the volume of the microphone. But it's really lightweight. It definitely has a super plasticky feel to it. You can tell that these are two separate units here, and this is like the mixer. It has a nice separation because this is a more shiny style feel to it, and this has more of a brushed look to it. It's still all plastic, of course, but it definitely gives you gear separation to where you feel like this is a separate mixer with two separate decks on either side of the mixing interface. In order to use the DDJ-400, it's very simple. You just have to log into your computer. Then you just have to go to Rekordbox DJ. You can download Rekordbox DJ software right there. You can plug this in. You don't need any additional drivers, whether you're on a Windows machine or a Mac. You just plug it in and it's ready to go as long as you have the latest version of Rekordbox DJ software. So let's head on over to the table and see exactly what we got, and we'll check out all the ins and outs of the new Pioneer DJ DDJ-400. Alright, so here it is. This is the Pioneer DDJ-400, the beginner or intro level, or just a small compact DJ controller for Rekordbox DJ. Right off the bat from the layout, you can see that you have a really cool layout here. They're not mirrored. They're actually set up just how you would see on a real Nexus setup with your play pause to the left of each of your decks, and to the right you also see the pitch sliders in the same place. You also have your loops all in the same place, and you have a nice cool separation factor here on each side of the mixer. You see these dividers where you have a different texture here for your decks and a different texture here for your mixers, so it makes everything feel like it's three separate pieces when it's all actuality just one individual unit. So right off the bat, we'll touch on the mixer section. All the way at the bottom, you have a crossfader, and this is a rather smaller feeling crossfader, and it does feel a little bit scratchy and definitely plasticky, and doesn't feel like it's as robust as what you find on the Magvel crossfaders. But this fader really did surprise me, because I was able to do all of my really complicated scratches, my crab scratches, and all other scratches using this fader. It has a really low cut-in distance and really low lag and latency, so I was definitely able to do a lot more scratching than I thought I would be able to with the DDJ-400 internal crossfader. You are allowed to change your crossfader settings or your curve control within the Rekordbox DJ software, because there's not a hardware knob or button or anything to press, so that way you can change it on the fly. You have to kind of set it here and forget it, or you're going to be looking at your computer in order to change the different curve settings of your crossfader. Next up, you have your line faders, and these line faders have more resistance to them. They're nice and smooth, but again, they're not as long as what's found on a DJM, but they definitely get the job done, and they definitely feel good and of nice quality. All the way to the left, you have your headphone mixing section, where you're allowed to change what's in your cue or master with the mixing knob, or you can change the level of the headphones as well by using the knob below it. Next up, you have your cue button, so this way you can cue what you have in your headphones, and you also notice there's another cue button here which will allow you to cue up what is playing within your master level. Next, above that, you have your filter knobs. This is your low pass to the left, your high pass to the right. You have your low, mid, and high EQs. These are traditional EQs. They are not full kill EQs, but they work very nice, and they sound pretty good. You also have your gain knobs all the way at the top, and they are a slightly different color, so that way you don't confuse them with one of your EQ or filter knobs. Next up, all the way at the top, you have your browse knob, so that way you can go through all of your tracks, your crates, and your file explorers. And then you also have your load, and when you hit shift and load, it becomes an instant double. Your shift buttons are at the same place on each of your different decks. They're located right here. They're a little bit small for my taste, a little bit out of the way, but I guess that's how they're supposed to be on a controller of this size. Next up, you have your effects section. Now, this is one of the big changes of the DDJ-400 versus other controllers out there, including the previous DDJ-RR or RB, which is used for Rekordbox. This is more of what you would see on your big style DJ mixers that are found in DJ booths all over the world. So that way you'll be more familiar with what's going on in a DJ realm setting inside of a club than working with just straight up controllers. All the way at the bottom, you have your effect on and off button. You have your level and depth knob, so that way you can make this effect either more or less. You can have this effect channel 1, channel 2, or your master output. And you also have an FX select button here, and the button allows you to go up and down and scroll through all of the different effects that you have here. Rekordbox DJ has lots of effects, and you get them all unlocked from the start with the DDJ-400. You also have your beat button, so that way you can change the level of the effect or how often the effect actually knocks. You have your cue button again, and your master level volume control knob. All of the effects that are on board here with the beat effects are post fader effects, so I'll give you a quick example of that. And as long as you have all of your beat grids and everything set up correctly within Rekordbox for your tracks, all of these beat effects will be on beat and right on time for the effect that you want at any given time. Next up, you have your two different deck sections. All the way up at the top, you have your in, out, loop, reloop button, and you also are able to call upon your different cues that you have set. You also have a beat sync button here that you can change from master or to slave, so that way you can have these all synced up at all times. It's really cool to have this loop effect at the top here, so that way it's more familiar to what you'll have at real DJ clubs where you're using CDJ 900s and CDJ 2000s. All of their loop sections look exactly like this, and they work exactly the same as well. Next up, you have the Jog Wheels. The Jog Wheels are very, very responsive, touch sensitive at the top. They don't have any style of mechanical feel to them, but they are very, very accurate. So for this size, they really, really work. And you're also allowed to hit shift, and that way you can scroll through your different track. You're allowed to hit shift and move the actual platter, so that way you can go through your track very, very quickly to any given point that you want to go to. Next up is your shift button down here. Then you have your play pause button, your cue button, very similar to what you find on the big style gear. And then you have your pad section. The pads here are really, really small, but they actually work pretty well. They have a click to them, so you actually hear a click every time you use them. So I'm not able to do my double finger drumming here on one singular pad, because every time it actually gets enacted, you have to hear that click. So doing it super quick, you're eventually going to miss some of your little beats there. That's one of my minor gripes with the unit. I wish that these were maybe non-click pads, but just maybe even a little bit bigger. But the pads do work, and they'll definitely get the party started. Let you use the hot cue, the keyboard, the key shift, your beat loop, your beat jump, and your pad effects just as you would want them to. So you have your hot cue section, then you have your keyboard section underneath, so that way you can use this as your keyboard if you have a hot cue set. So if we have a hot cue here that we'll just make, and we can go to the keyboard section. And then you also have your beat loop, so that way take off on spaceship. Like Matrix, and feel like she next. Let's do what's too fame. Jumping like a sit right on the And next up we have a beat jump, so that way you can go through your track using different lengths of here, same length that you have for your beat loop. And then you also have pad effects. So for those of you who like to combine different effects, you can do it here. You can use your pad effects feature along with the different beat effects that you already have on board over here, and you can use them at the same time and in harmony. You also have your sampler function here, and then you also have key shift on board as well. A lot of different controllers and different softwares, you actually have to pay extra money in order to get key shift, but you already have it here right at your fingertips. So in conclusion, the new Pioneer DDJ-400 is my favorite beginner DJ controller of all time because it comes in at only $250 and it includes almost all the performance features in the full Rekordbox DJ right there bundled inside the box. That means you can do your tone play. You can also do your different features and functions that would only be present on higher end Serato DJ controllers right here on the Pioneer DDJ-400. It's also small and compact, so a lot of people want a nice small DJ controller so they can bring it with them on the go, or if they're tight on space where they're using this in their own home. It also has the flagship Nexus style layout where all of your loop controls, your pitch sliders, your play, pause, and transport controls are all in the same place that they would be if you were using the flagship style Nexus DJ setup. It also has the really cool 8 performance pads for each side. Really easy to use, really intuitive with the different modes that you guys can select. And it also has a DJ tutorial right there built into the Rekordbox DJ software. When you're using the DDJ-400, it'll really let beginners to get a nice footing, a nice beginning point, so that way they can start mixing as soon as they open up the box. On the downside, the DDJ-400 does not have your traditional style effects that you find on most DJ controllers. Most DJ controllers have your 3 knobs, which are 3 buttons to select all 3 of your effects at one time with another beat knob on the side. Here, you'll have to use a combination of your beat effects along with your pad effects down here in the pad section. So for those DJs who really like to have all 3 of your different effects and 2 different modules, then they might want to look elsewhere, or they're going to have to learn how to use the pad effects and the beat effects combination that you can find on the DDJ-400. Also, another one of my minor gripes with the unit was that it had really clicky feeling rubber pads here. I like the rubber pads that don't have like a click into them. That way I can actually press them a bit faster and I can use like double finger drumming. But here, if you try to do some really quick clicks and some really quick hits and doing 2-finger drumming, you're probably going to lose some of your beats in there because you have to hear that audible click every time before you're actually going to enact your hot cue or your loop or whatever you're controlling with your pads. Other than that, this is a really excellent beginner level DJ controller. Again, this is going to be my #1 recommended beginner DJ controller because of the price point and all of the features that you have right here within. You'll be able to DJ with this, and then you can move up to real style club gear very easily because the layout will be very similar. The looping functions will be identical, and you'll be right at home using your other style professional DJ gear. So for more on the review summary, you guys can head on over to www.djbooth.net. You can type in DDJ-400, or you can click on the top of this video description. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up if you like videos like this. Always subscribe so that way you guys can get the newest videos as soon as they come out from the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.